there was this one time where there's a very famous TikToker that I do her hair. Yeah. And we were doing something super crazy. I've done it all the time. Like, it was a double bleach, It's a little bit of a scary thing for some new stylists to do because you can fry someone's hair off. Well, her hair did fry off.
Ooh.
And, we're TikToking and we're blow drying her hair, and it's gone. Like, it had come off, and she's crying in my seat, and I'm like, okay, Bree, what are we going to do here?
Hey, Wealth Warriors. I've got a special guest today. Her name is Bree. She's with Bree Marie Salon. She's the owner. She's out of Catoosa, Oklahoma, a place you probably never heard of before, but she actually is the hairstylist to the stars. She actually has a couple of really wild TikTok girls that just go viral, and she takes care of their hair. And if you're a woman and watching this, you know how important that is. So this is going to be a pretty awesome interview. Tune in. Bree, thanks for being here today.
Of course.
I appreciate you coming in. I know you're a busy girl.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your business, first of all. First of all, tell the viewers what business you're in.
Okay, so I own a hair salon. So I'm in the beauty industry. I do lots of hair, lots of extensions. My whole goal is to make people feel like their best self. So that's kind of like why I kind of got into the hair. So my goal is pretty much I want to make people happy. I want them to feel good about themselves. So I feel like that's a lot of my industry is I'm trying to make people feel good about themselves.
Good.
So
let's go back in time. You've been in business how long now?
5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good. That's a good amount of time for you to get your ears boxed a little bit as an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
So as far as 5 years ago, first of all, what got you into the business, number one?
Honestly, it sounds so silly, but since I was in second grade, I've always just loved hair. My grandma was a hairstylist, so I was always at her salon. I was always doing my friends' hair at the school, and it was just like that was the thing that clicked with me, and I felt like I just knew how to do it, and I just felt like that's what I wanted to do, like since I was so young. So I just kind of knew.
So what was your first initial, I guess, toe in the water when you first did your first? I mean, there's a lot of pressure on someone, especially women.
Yeah.
Very emotionally attached to their hair.
Yes, they are.
So, when your first cut, what was your feelings? How did you handle that?
I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I think doing something that's right, like there was this one time where there's a very famous TikToker that I do her hair. Yeah. And we were doing something super crazy. I've done it all the time. Like, it was a double bleach, It's a little bit of a scary thing for some new stylists to do because you can fry someone's hair off. Well, her hair did fry off.
Ooh.
And, we're TikToking and we're blow drying her hair, and it's gone. Like, it had come off, and she's crying in my seat, and I'm like, okay, Bree, what are we going to do here? And so I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to give you free extensions. I was like, we're going to make this right. It's going to be okay. I was like, I'm not really sure what had happened. It was kind of like a weird coincidence. And I was like, we're just going to make this happen. She was totally okay with it, gave free extensions, and she's still with me. But I feel like owning up to something that you did wrong, like instead of being like, oh, no, that's your fault. Like, I didn't do nothing wrong. I think owning up to what you did honestly helps make you grow, and it makes your clients trust you a whole lot more. And so, yeah, that was like a year ago, and she's still with me. We're checking along.
That's awesome. Good deal. So you're an integral part of her look on TikTok.
Yeah, we get like 14 plus million views on everyone that we do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So the idea would be to take that information that you just spoke of. I have a friend of mine, Jocko Willing, that actually wrote a book on extreme ownership. And having that extreme ownership, it sounds like you have bought into that idea. If you own the problem and you fix the problem, people are going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because you weren't trying to hide anything.
Yeah.
You weren't trying to dodge anything.
Yep.
You were actually trying to help, and something went wrong.
Yep.
We're humans, right?
We're humans, yeah.
So things happen.
Things happen.
So there are probably situations where maybe something like that might have happened and it went the other way. You weren't able to keep them, I'm sure. But all those things are all relative to doing business, right? So as an entrepreneur, what do you feel like the number one hardest thing for you, and this might be just industry related, a lot of people from the outside looking into hair salons or nail salons or massage parlors, things like that, they think of very, very flaky people.
Yeah.
And you probably dealt with those people and
Yeah.
probably try to keep them out of your business.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not saying that it's kind of an industry thing. You
It
have
is.
to deal with that, right?
Yeah, it is.
So tell me a little bit about that. I know it's got to be a struggle for you a little bit.
I mean, yeah, gosh, that is hard. And I'll be honest, like let's see, I've been in my salon for like 2 years, like my own salon. I've been my own business owner for 5 years, but I've had my own space for 2 years. And I just now have like four employees that have like stayed with me. I've had probably 5 that are just so flaky. They come in, I'm gonna do this, and then they go, they leave. I can't do this. This is too hard. And I've had a lot of those. I've had girls that are just like, I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. I'm like, let me help you. But a lot of they are really flaky, you know. And I feel like that is hard in this industry. I just had to kind of be like, I can't pour my whole self into someone because they could literally just flake the next day.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like I had to kind of be like, okay, like, how are you doing? Kind of like get in there and feel how they are. If they really, truly want it. I have a girl she really, truly wanted it. And she's doing so good right now. And I've been able to pour into her more and more. And so that's a really good part of it because I feel like then I can grow them also. But, you know, and the other hard part is that other girl, I feel really bad. You know, I was really trying to help her, but some people just don't really, you know,
Don't want to receive that.
they don't want to receive it, and that's totally okay. And I feel like I would put a lot of pressure on myself, being like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what am I doing? I'm doing so much for her. I'm trying so hard. And it wasn't me. You know, she just really didn't want to do it. And I just feel like as a business owner, you have to be like, okay, like, that's okay. Like, there's a point where you have to stop. Like, I feel like for me, I was trying to do it for her, and I was just like, no, Brie, like, you can't do that. Like, she has to want it, you know?
Yeah, you can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's probably because they're kind of a little bit of an entrepreneur themselves.
Yeah.
Coming in, working for a larger conglomerate entrepreneur as yourself.
Yeah,
right?
so they're booth rent, so they're their own boss. Like, I like to tell all my girls, like, I don't want to be their boss. I don't want to be a boss. I don't want to be like, show up like this, dress like this, do this. Like, I want to be their friend. Like, I want to be a boss that everyone can like come up to and like they want to go hang out with and stuff. So I'm a little bit of a different boss, I would say. But if I need to be a boss, like if there's a client that's just, you know, not being nice, I can be a boss for them. But for a lot of times, like, they make their own schedule. They come in whenever they want. They take off time whenever they want. They just pay me booth rent. So like, it's their own business, but like in their booth, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm just like the owner of it.
Right.
So
what do you feel like, first of all, where's your business located? I know we're in Tulsa, but
yeah, I'm in Catoosa.
Yeah. Okay. So with your experience and with your hiring past, okay, what do you look for in an employee? Like, someone's going to come in, I say an employee, maybe a booth runner.
Yeah.
What do you look for in someone who's going to be stable, who's going to be, you know, really not hopping around, I guess, but making sure they're going to be a good part of your culture?
Yeah. I look for when they first walk in, are they smiling? Do they look like, hi, like, I'm like super excited. Like, I'm a very bubbly person. I'm pretty loud. I'm pretty bubbly. I like to smile a lot. And so I kind of look for that. I want to see if like we kind of click in the beginning. I'm not the most professional person. Like, honestly, you're going to come into my salon and you have no idea what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to be dancing. I mean, we were two-stepping the other day. So in my culture, I don't want someone that's just business only. Yeah. With my clients, my clients stay, and I mean, I have great friendships. They come to my kid's birthday party, like, and I have a lot of clients. And my culture is, I want it just to be fun. I want people to come in. I want to have a good time. I mean, we work with girls, you know, kind of bicker back and forth. And so I pretty much tell everyone, I don't like bullies. Like, don't be a bully. I was like, that's not okay. And don't cuss. Like, don't just be cussing all up in my salon, and play okay-ish music, okay? Like, I get you can get down sometimes, but like, let's keep it a little chill. But as long as they seem to have that like drive and that want and just like excited to be here, that's what I really look forward to, you know. And even if someone, you know, I've had a girl that she was more business and she was more quiet, and she wanted to move to another salon that was a little bit more her vibe, a little more quiet and more professional, and that's totally okay. You know, I don't ever want to hold someone back, and I'm not going to feel like that's my fault just because I'm not going to change myself to fit them, you know. So
well, one of the things I think that you've touched on here is, you know, people don't necessarily attract to the hard-nosed type of business, they more of attract the way you make them feel.
Yeah.
And if you make them feel like they belong and they feel like they're having a good time, it becomes less work and more fun, right?
Yes.
So that's kind of your angle then.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
So
totally.
what do you think that you do differently in your industry than any other person or salon in your business? Is it that very thing, or would you expand on that?
I feel like for me, a little bit, yeah, I see a lot of owners, like girls just come in, they pay their booth rent and they leave. But for me, I'm in for like the whole thing. Like a lot of times I'm all of it. My girls will come to me and they'll be like, hey Brie, go look at my client's hair. And I'm like, okay. And like I'll go over there and they'll be like, what should I do? And I'll go help them. But a lot of business owners, they're just like, I don't know, do this. Like I'm invested in them and I'm really trying to like help them out. Like yesterday I had a girl, she was running pretty late behind, and she was really stressed out. And I was like, hey, you need any help? And she was like, yes, actually. She's like, you could sew this whole roll of extension in my head. I wouldn't care. And I was like, okay, I'll do that for you. It's like, you can go get your other client and I'll help you out with this, And I feel like I'm doing that on my heart. I really am truly trying to help her. And I feel like a lot of business owners would be like, okay, bye, just kind of like leave. But I don't want to be that way. I want the girls to feel like confident in themselves and know that it's okay to struggle, but I'm going to be there for them too. I've struggled in the past, and when someone's piggybacking off of me and they're helping me out, like I love that, so I feel like that's
that's good. And I think as business owners, we do get caught up sometimes in our what we're doing, running a business, and not thinking about really how a person is struggling and how we can walk in and help and maybe teach them something that might make them more efficient or might make them move faster.
Yep.
So I think one of the things there that I'm picking up is the involvement that you have with your people.
Yeah.
Not just with your clients, but with your employees. In other words, you're getting to know them well.
Yes.
Getting along well.
Yep.
You're friendly.
Yeah.
And people want to be your friend.
I want to be a friend.
And then it drives them to want to work for you and want to be there and help the salon grow, right?
Yep.
So tell me the name of your salon again. Tell everyone the name of it.
It's Brie Marie Salon.
Brie Marie. And tell me what your 5-year outlook might be.
Well, gosh,
Where do you see Brie Marie in 5 years?
I see a lot of things.
Let's talk about it.
So I just opened up my hair extension line, which it's taken me like 2 years now. It's very, very expensive and it's very hard to, figure out what line you're going to use. You got to pay money to people in China, so you got to trust them, So I finally found the company that I'm really excited to work with. I just opened up my first class. And so I plan on teaching. I plan on being a teacher, going to other schools or going to other salons, traveling and teaching and becoming a little bit of bigger brand. I'm coming up with curriculum for beauty school students that are like, okay, yay, I'm out of school. Now what? I have my first client in my chair. I've learned the basics. I don't know what to do, And so in school you learn like literally the basics, and they teach you things to do way harder than what like should be. And so I'm coming up with like videos and curriculum for them to be like, okay, this is my client. That looks like that. I'm going to do it like this and make it easier for them and stuff like that. So I see Brie Marie Salon being all over, hopefully a bigger name with my extensions out there, teaching classes and just helping stylists grow and feel more confident behind the chair.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Sounds like you got it figured out.
I'm trying.
I think as business owners, we don't ever have it figured out.
No.
But we try.
Yep.
So what is you're married?
Yes.
And children?
Yeah, I have one little boy.
And tell me a little bit about family dynamic and growing a business.
Yeah, it can be hard sometimes. My little boy, my mom watches him, thankfully. He's only like 3 minutes away from me, so if I ever need to go over there, that's nice. But for me, I could work 24/7 with my clients. Like I could either edit videos, I could work on curriculum, I could work on pictures, I could work on messaging clients back. I could message clients back all night long if I wanted to. And I feel like for me, I had to have a separation somewhere. When I get home, I'm like, I've been working behind the chair all day. Now I need to get on my phone and do all my phone work and computer work. And my husband's like, hey, Like, here I am. Hi. You want some dinner? My little boy's like, mommy. And I'm like, oh, hi. Like, let me finish this. I'm like, no, Brie, like, you can take time. Like, it's not going to be the end of the world. Like, they can wait. Like, you're off of hours right now. And so I feel like for me, it's kind of been a little bit harder to kind of like settle back, put my phone down at night. But they're great. They work with it. They do good with it. So
yeah. So it's good to have a partnership.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things I think I picked up from what you just said, I think, is the stark difference between renting a booth and being in this industry and actually running a business from the booth rental side, because it's a total different mindset, isn't it?
Completely different mindset. And honestly, like, just because I own the salon doesn't mean I make more money than one of my stylists. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm renting the space out. They pay me booth rent, but their booth rent doesn't pay my rent, my water, my electricity, my salon manager. So if they wanted to, they could make more money than me, but I own the salon, but it's not just because I own the salon doesn't mean I'm making like all this money. Yeah. So that's a big part of it. And when people are like, oh, I'm going to own a salon, I'm like, listen, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. A
lot of buy-in, a lot of work, and a lot of time.
A lot of time.
And like you said, it can steal it away from your family, so you got to be able to set those boundaries, right?
Yeah, you have to set those boundaries.
So what is your, as far as your work-life balance, a lot of people become an entrepreneur and say, I want to set my own hours. I don't want to work for anybody else. And then they realize when they get into being an entrepreneur, your hours went from 9 to 5 to 24/7.
Yeah.
So those boundaries, there are a lot of salons that are closed on Mondays. Are you closed on Mondays?
If they want to work Mondays, they can work Mondays.
Okay.
So sometimes people have weddings on Mondays. Everyone has a key. So technically the salon could be open 24/7, but not. I mean, some people work Mondays, but most stylists don't. I don't.
Right.
I try real hard not to.
Well, because you got a work-life balance.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. So set those boundaries.
Awesome. So what else would you like everyone to know about Brie Marie?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I feel like I'd want everyone to know that I'm just trying. Like, I'm gonna make mistakes and things are gonna happen, and I'm, just gonna have to live with it. Like, I've made mistakes in my career, but I just want everyone to know, like, I'm truly trying. I'm trying to do my best. I pray about everything. I'm really true. I'm just trying. I feel like that's all I can say is that.
So what advice would you give to someone that is becoming an entrepreneur in general? What would be your top 2, top 3 things that you've just got to know as an entrepreneur?
Just go with it. You just have to go with it. There's a lot of daydreamers and a lot of people that just like think like, oh, I really just want to do this. You have to go head first and you just got to go with it. Like, it's going to be a little rocky. That doesn't mean it's not going to work. You just have to go deep. You just got to go with it. Set your boundaries, don't get yourself so overwhelmed with the big 5-year picture. Don't try to put yourself in that 5-year picture right now. Take steps, take baby steps, figure yourself out, figure out what you want. There's going to be things that are working now that won't work then. And so you just kind of have to like go with it, And so like that's a big one. And just having boundaries. Your boundaries are so, so important because you can get so lost in your business. I feel like not having to text every client back like, oh no, they're going to leave me because it's 8:00 at night and I haven't responded to them. Like, no, they can wait till morning. Like it's okay, So I feel like just like not getting lost with yourself and just going head first and just going and diving into it really is pretty important to me.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a hard question.
Okay.
So if we go back in time, what are the number one regret you have that maybe if you could go back in time and change or do over, what would you do?
Oh gosh. I think the number one thing is be more responsible. When I first started, I would just be like, oh, hey, Susie, your appointment's on Wednesday. And I wouldn't write it down.
Oh, wow.
I would just like, oh, I got this. I got a good memory. I can just do that, or I'll be talking to someone. I'm like, oh, yeah, just come in on Tuesday. Like, it'll be fine. And I'd have 3 or 4 people in my chair. Hi, I'm here for Brie Marie. And I'm like, what time? 9. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I've messed up, and that's happened quite a few times in my career. I need to be more responsible. I need to write things on paper. I need to put them in the book, and honestly, that I learned from that, and I hired a salon manager, and she does all my bookings. She helps me message people back, and so that's that's gone down way down. But in the beginning, I wasn't responsible, and I feel like that hurt me a lot.
Yeah. So organization, obviously, very key.
Yes, very key.
Anything else?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that was a really big one.
Yeah.
I feel like I never felt like doing booth, like going straight to booth rent was ever a problem for me. I had a pretty good clientele. I feel like that was pretty good. Honestly, I feel like the responsibility thing was pretty high up there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of business owners don't track business. They don't track things. Now, in your business, you get 3 or 4 appointments showing up at once. That adds a lot of stress really fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I somehow, by the grace of God, managed it. And they all got in. I made sure it happened, but it was very stressful.
Yeah.
It was very stressful.
And it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
You're bringing unneeded stress on yourself, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So what is your, we talked about your plan for 5 years. What are you implementing now that is probably key in that 5-year plan? You mentioned the hair extensions. So this is kind of a new area for you to reach into.
Yeah.
So whether it's a product line or a new product or a new this or new this that's going to have your brand on it, what if someone is looking for that kind of thing, not necessarily in your industry, maybe, but maybe they're wanting to brand something or come up with something or bring a better product to market. Tell me what that was like to try and say, okay, I know I could do this better. Why did you do it, first of all?
Well, honestly, the reason why I did it is I got into hair extensions right when they were like blowing up. And so I really got a lot of extension clients, and I was spending so much money on hair extensions, like from other buyers, different businesses. And I'm like, I could do this. My dad, he's an entrepreneur also. And so I've learned a lot from him. And he was like, girl, just go get yourself a line. Go build Brie Marie hair. And I'm like,
It's a little scary.
It was so scary because I don't like failure. I do not like failure. I don't want anyone to be mad at me. I don't want someone to be like, Brie, this hair is awful. And that would just break my heart, And so I know going into a business, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have bad hair, And so I feel like that was like real scary. But, I was like, okay, yeah, like I can do that. And so it's taken me so long because I was so scared of it. Honestly, it was such a scary business because I knew that it could do super well, but I knew that being a big business, you could also have a lot of backlash also on that too. And so that kind of scared me a little bit. But yeah, I feel like, let me be honest, I forgot the question. I was like, wait, where am I going with this?
The idea of bringing a new product to market. Being in a situation where you feel like, is this going to work? Like you said.
Yes.
Being afraid of failure a little bit.
Afraid of failure.
And it keeps people it keeps a lot of people down where they don't jump out on their own and they don't launch something because of failure.
Yeah.
I have failed more times than I can count as a business owner. Owning 4 different businesses, it's one of those things where it's like, it gets overwhelming and it can be scary because what if one of them doesn't perform and messes up with people or something, and it's constantly on our mind. Yeah. So when you're launching a new product and you're doing the things that you need to do, you had to negotiate, you said, with China. There's some things there. Did you have to travel there, or is it all?
No.
Okay.
No,
right.
It's just pretty much like you just got to find a factory, and it's like, hey, I want to try your product out. Okay, send me money. Here's PayPal. And I'm like, okay. Like, please give me product.
And that may or may not be the same product that you might be buying from someone else. Because they probably use the same factory, or some of them do, right?
Yeah.
Some of them don't, obviously, but some of them probably do, and and then they have this huge markup, which passes on to the client.
Yep.
And I think you're just trying to solve that problem, right? Get the extensions down. So,
I mean, kind of. The extensions down for me,
right.
But sell to other stylists. Kind of get like my extension as like my name, because I'm teaching extended classes and stuff like that. So. Like for me, it helps me in my prices, and any of the girls in my salon, I give them a discount on hair so that they can make extra money on that, so they can, have a little bit more profit for them. And so I feel like that I was wanting to help them out too.
All right, I'll close with this. Are there any major problems in your business that you've had a hard time solving? In other words, what's the number one hardest solve, if you will, in your industry?
Clients. Figuring out who is your dream clientele, because there's going to be people in your industry, like clients, and they're never going to be happy. And I feel like a lot of times people, like stylists, they think, oh, it's my fault. Like, what am I doing wrong? They're doing nothing wrong. It's truly just the client. It's just not a fit. And so I feel like having a boundary and being like, I think that we're not a good fit. Maybe we should try someone else. Like, she's really good at maybe what you're wanting. And having that boundary and encouraged to talk to, like, have hard conversations with clients, because if Sally comes in and she's never happy, or she's always wanting a little fix, that could be really daunting on, like, your confidence as a stylist. And so I feel like just having boundaries with clients and knowing, like, it's okay if they don't work out, like, you're gonna have another one and it's gonna be better, so
this it's interesting, because even in my own business, when I bring on a new client, the number one rule I have is we have to get along. And if we don't get along, it just makes everybody
it's not fun.
If you see me at Walmart, I want you to say hi.
Yes, if you gotta walk past them and, like, don't make eye contact, you don't need to, like, they don't need to be your client. Yeah.
Right, good deal. Well, Brie, thanks so much for being with us today.
Of course,
I
thank
know
you
run a
me.
very busy salon, and you're
Yes.
very busy, so thank you for taking time out
Of course.
and taking the time to share.
Yes, it was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Glad you-